This is the Emergency Communications Training Net. Good evening. My name is Jerry, and my call sign is WB4EMC. I'm located in Waxhaw, North Carolina, and I will be the net control operator for this evening's net. The purpose of this net is to train on emergency communication procedures, communications equipment, communication modes, and the National Incident Management System, which is known by NIMS. Before we get started, is there any emergency communications, traffic, or announcements? If so, call WB4EMC or Net Control. Over. Okay, this is WB4EMC, Nothing Heard. Again, I want to welcome all those who logged into EchoLink this evening. Everyone, please be advised that EchoLink is being broadcasted over YouTube. So, I'm running two programs off of my computer here. So, if I sound sort of choppy at times on EchoLink or break off or you miss a couple words, that's what's happening. Not YouTube, but the broadcast program in EchoLink is trying to shove all of their data through my modem here, my DSL modem, and sometimes it can be overwhelming for the modem. Okay, the net is please recognize KB4GKI Jimmy in Wilkes County, also KD9er Juliet Delta Delta Billy up in Goshen, Indiana, and also KI4 LEH Gene. Okay, this evening we'll be briefly discussing on what to report and how to report severe weather into the National Weather Bureau. Okay, first to report, or what to report, is first of all who you are. Okay, your full name. The next critical item is where is the event. In other words, if there's a torrential downpour or a large hailstorm or even a tornadic event, they need to know exact location. In other words, just don't say the tornado is in southwest of, well, for instance, where I live here, southwest of Monroe, North Carolina. That's not really telling them a lot. They need to know where you're located when you are witnessing the event. Next, the National Weather Service needs to know what you saw. In other words, describe it in detail. The key word here is detail. Try not to be vague when you give your descriptions and your locations. And when you saw it, the beginning and the end time. Also, was there any damage? And also, one thing that the National Weather Service wants is, what they state is, late reports are better than no reports. So, even if the event has passed and it's been about 15-20 minutes, they still would like to have your report, because basically that gives them a better feel of what you've seen in your location at that particular time. This is WB4EMC. Okay, the second part is what to report on. Of course, we all know if we see tornadoes, funnel clouds, or wall clouds, watch for rotation. And also, if you see a wall cloud but you don't see a funnel cloud, Look at the ground right under the wall cloud. Are you seeing dust being kicked up in a circular motion? If you're seeing that, the tornado is already on the ground. You don't always have to see a funnel cloud for it to indicate that it's on the ground. Also, hail. Be specific in reporting hail. Don't say it's hailing bad here. Well, what is the size of the hailstones? And when you describe it in like coins, or if it's like pea-sized hail, or the hail is the size of a penny, or a nickel, or a quarter. Don't report that hail is marble size. There are different sizes of marble, so that can be very vague. Also, report on thunderstorm winds or thunderstorm wind damage. And when you report damage from winds, in other words, if it took some shingles off the house and the wind was strong enough to blow shingles off of houses, or it has blown a arm-size limb off of a tree. In other words, try to be as specific as possible. And of course, report flooding. For instance, measure if you can. Now, I'm not saying get out in a rapid flood. If, for instance, there's a bridge that goes over a river or a creek, if it's up over the bridge or even to the bridge, again, give your location and the bridge location and tell them the level. They can look up on county records to see how high that bridge is, and they can tell how high that bridge is over what they call flood stage. So if it's up even or over that bridge, then of course there's flooding because it's over the flood stage. One thing I want to throw in here, for those who are out either chasing a storm or reporting a storm, if you see a flood on the road, if you don't see the road, the key word or the key phrase is turn around, don't drown. It don't take much water to float a car off, and if you're in that car and that happens, then you're in pretty bad shape. So rather not take that chance. This is WB4 EMC. Another item, like I just briefly discussed just a few minutes ago, is about wind speed, or how to estimate wind speed. For instance, wind speed somewhere between 30 to 40 miles an hour, large trees in motion. And also, the utility lines are blowing pretty good. You can see the movement. 40 to 50 miles an hour, whole trees are in motion. Garbage cans and similar items about the size of garbage cans can be blown over. 50 to 65 miles an hour, you got twigs, small branches breaking off of trees, damage to fences and shingles. When you have 65 to 80 miles an hour, you have large branches breaking off of trees. Shallow rooted trees will be uprooted. And also, when we have winds from 80 to 100 miles an hour, we have extensive tree uprooting, roof damage, and trailer homes being overturned. This is WB4 EMC. Okay, another area is how to estimate hail size. Like I stated before, let's try to report hail size to the National Weather Service in comparable items. Don't say it's marble size. For instance, pea size, the estimated size on that, the way the National Weather Service will see that, is 1/4 of an inch. Of course, dime, you got 3/4 of an inch. Nickel, you got 0.88 inches. 1/4 is an inch. And of course, softball size hail will be up around 4.25 inches. So be very thorough and specific in when you're reporting your hail size. Okay, tornado reporting. Report what you see. Do not report what you think you see, what you want to see, or what you think you will be seeing. Only report what you are currently seeing. That's very critical. Report your location, the location of the tornado, and the time. If possible, report other details such as damage, debris, size, and shape. Also, be careful when you choose words to describe what you're seeing, especially related to damage. There's a big difference between a house that is destroyed and a house that just has part of the roof torn off. In other words, don't overstate the significance. Don't exaggerate. Again, be very thorough when you're reporting tornadic damages. And remember, a tornado is defined as a violent, rotating column of air extended from a thunderstorm and touching the ground. A visible funnel is not needed. Remember what I was stating earlier. If you see a wall cloud, look at the ground below. If you see dirt being kicked up and rotating in a counterclockwise fashion, that tornado is already on the ground. The debris swirling on the ground underneath a defined tornado or a strong rotation. Just remember, a funnel cloud does not always have to be present. This is WB4EMC. Okay, the last item I want to let everybody know. First of all, safety first, guys. Now, I don't, and I can say this from my end. I know that I can speak for the National Weather Service when I state this too. Just because you have taken Skywarn, it does not make you a professional storm chaser. Skywarn's only designed to train you to be able to spot. That's the reason why they call Skywarn spotters. Being able to chase a tornado takes more training. Matter of fact, those you see on TV that chase in tornadoes, actually they're working for the National Weather Service or a university that has storm chasers that have the Doppler radar on wheels. If you can hear a thunderstorm, you're close enough to the storm to be struck by lightning. Remember that. Stay in your vehicle. Do not stand next to trees or other tall, isolated objects. The proper viewing angle for a northeast to southeast moving storm is to position yourself to the southeast or south of the storm. Remain at a safe distance, somewhere between 2 to 4 miles. Position your vehicle at intersections, allowing for multiple escape routes to account for irregular storm motions. That's very critical. If you're out in a storm or a tornado that you see, don't get yourself boxed in, guys. We have seen what happened in the past for professional storm chasers. that got themselves boxed in. It again, chasing storms. National Weather Service do not recommend Skywarn spotters to get out there to start chasing. It's very, very dangerous. And last but not least, never cross flooded roads. Key word or key phrase to remember: turn around, do not drown. Okay, this is the brief training I have this evening. And what we're going to do now is go down the list here for comments or questions. Up on the list here is KB4 GKI, Jimmy up in Wilkes County. Good evening, Jimmy. Your comments or questions, over.